Hi, I'm Eric with Class B, and today I'm going to be demonstrating how you can apply your own troop trailer graphics. It's a very simple process. First, we've gotten together the materials that we're going to need for the install. We received our graphics from Class B right here. I let them sit overnight so they kind of leveled out. Otherwise, they have this horrible curl that will cause problems later. We're going to make our own application fluid, which I'm going to show you how to do that in just a moment. We have a tape measure and a pencil. Our wonderful sketch of how the trailer is supposed to look. Yours can totally be like this and it'll be fine. And then we're going to need some masking tape, rags, our instruction sheet, and also this is what I'll refer to in the instructions as the squeegee. This is provided with your order as well. So first thing is you can make your own application fluid. This is available commercially. It's called Rapid Tack, but we have a formula that you can make at home. It should work just as well. It's very simple, and the instructions will be in the notes for the video and on your sheet. But basically, it's 7/8 water, 1/8 isopropyl alcohol, if that's how that's pronounced right, and 4 drops of standard dish soap at the most. If you put more in, it'll cause a problem. So I've already measured out a certain amount of water, so I'm just going to put 1/8 more of alcohol. And what this will do is this will allow the graphics to float above the trailer for a little bit while you do the final positioning, and then we're going to use a squeegee to push the fluid out of the way. This will basically buy you time in case you put it down wrong. Also, it'll help you if you can lift it off a little bit. It gives you a few seconds. If you try the dry method, that can be very challenging because you have to get it right exactly at the same time. 2, 3, call that 4. And that's all you put in for the soup. These little spray bottles you can get at like Home Depot or Lowe's. And your application fluid is done and ready. Alright, so the next step is to take the graphics and tape them up on the trailer in the way you'd like them to be. Once we're happy with that, then we're going to go ahead and do the application. I'm going to go ahead and tape them up and check them as a So I centered the graphic on where it's going to go, measured to make sure it's equidistant, and I found a point that I can use to make sure that it's not tilted as well. And this method I'm going to use is really more valuable for large graphics. I'll demonstrate it here because it's also just safer. It gives you a little bit of wiggle room where you don't have to hold up the entire graphic. Alright, so you also for this need scissors, and this is where the application fluid comes into play. And you also need the squeegee for this step as well. Peeling back the paper from the graphic like this. You have to make sure that all of it goes on this clear tape. I have a spot here that didn't transfer, so I have to rub it down. There we go. So the graphic should look like this. If you have someone else who can help, this is where you can just hand things to other people. It makes it go very easy. I'm removing the paper from one side of it. I'm taking my application fluid. be sure to get a sprayer with a fine mist setting. It works vastly better than this. And then once I have the application fluid on, I'm basically pushing it through here, trying to get, if there's little bubbles, that's fine. Okay. And the great thing about the application fluid is it allows, if I'm wrong, or I see that it's folded over, I can pull it back a little bit and start again. That's where that fluid really comes in handy. Alright. Now that I've done the one side, I'm going to get the other side. And sometimes I'll tape down the edge of this in case the wind picks it up. As long as that fluid's under there, the whole thing can just go. Back. This paper is obviously easier to remove. You can't put down too much fluid. And again, a mist sprayer is vastly superior here. And then I'm pushing all the fluid out from under the graphic. At this point, it's usually good to take a step back, make sure you didn't do anything wrong. It looks correct to me. Because once I start to push this fluid out, I pretty much have committed. And then I'm going to leave this while I do the rest of it. Basically let some of that fluid dry out from under it, because I need this graphic to stick more to the trailer than to this. But right now, it's still going to peel back. So I'm going to walk away from this for a little bit and continue to do the rest. Alright, so now we're going to do the back of the trailer. A lot of times you'll encounter existing stickers like these here. You have a choice either to attempt to remove them, and to remove them, use a product like this, a citrus-based adhesive remover. It's going to take almost more work to remove those than it is to put on your trailer graphic, so it's totally up to you. If you're going to have the graphic, if you design the graphic to cover it, that's often the best choice. For this install, we're basically going to leave them in place, because we had discussed it with the trip that we're doing this trailer. Alright, so we let the graphic sit for, in our case, an hour, depending on your conditions. It could be a little bit less. What needs to happen is a lot of the liquid behind here needs to start to dry out. So in our case, an hour did about the trick. And now I'm going to remove the transfer tape. There's still a little bit of liquid behind this. And one of the things I did to try to speed this up is I came along about every half an hour, and I kind of just did this just to keep the liquid moving. Try to get it to come off. You'll know when it's correct when you pull it back, and this mostly sticks to the trailer. You can see here it lifts a little bit, then it falls. That's okay. If it comes off a little too much, all you gotta do is just press it down again, a little harder this time, because you can push here as hard as you want. When it's here, you have to be very gentle, like this, because if you push hard, you'll just gouge the graphic. So I'm going to pull this off, and the whole time I'm looking to make sure everything is okay. I'm looking kind of at the reflection in it. And you'll note that there's these creases in the transfer paper. These usually are not a problem. So I'm pulling it off, watching carefully. The area to really be aware of are grooves like we're going to encounter right here in the logo. Because you have to make sure every edge, so that edge is come down a little more. Good. Sometimes you angle and turn it, makes it a little bit easier. Because there's another danger spot. If you find the graphic is lifting up too much, you just need to let it sit a little bit longer. Alright, now we have the transfer paper off. And I'm going to now go through and just double check it. And to do that, you can kind of look at the reflection of it. You'll see some slight bubbles. No bubbles like that are okay. They'll eventually come through as the heat hits it, and it's not that big of a deal. If you have any large bubbles, you need to take an X-Acto knife and pop it. I'll go get an X-Acto knife. There's one little bubble there and demonstrate that. Okay, it's very hard to see this bubble, but there's a little bit of a line of bubble here. Basically what I'll do is I'll kind of push it up to kind of make it be like a blister. And I just put the knife into the spot there. Come from the other side, push the air out. There might be some liquid sometimes. And I can move that thing around trying to get all the air out of the hole. Again, a little bit is fine. I'm going to walk around the edges. Sometimes you'll see some fluid comes back out of the edge. That's fine, that's expected. One of the things I don't have here is a seam. If you end up with a seam, like a long crease or a long bubble, always start, like let's pretend there's a bubble right through here. You can push it gently this way and push it all the way out, and that will flatten the bubble out and it'll usually be preserved. If you have a long path like this, you push against it, you'll force a crease, and that's not the best outcome. So I come along on all the edges, and now we are basically good. This needs to probably sit for, I would say, 4 or 5 hours, really probably a day. Let's say 24 hours before you'd want to drive with the trailer. Because right now, if let's say it rains or you drive fast, a little bit of wind might pick it up and fly off the graphic. So you want to let it sit and cure for at least a day before you drive with the vehicle. Alright, so here's another graphic. This one poses a challenge that you'll often encounter, and that is there are rivets underneath the graphic. Now, if you can position the graphic to avoid going over the edge of a rivet, like I did not do this here. But if you can move it just slightly down or above to avoid that, that's going to make your life a little bit easier. Now I'm going to demonstrate how to take the transfer tape off and then how to deal with these rivet holes. This one also has a metal seam, which we'll deal with as well. To remove the transfer tape, you use the same procedure as before. Peel it back. And you want to look at the reflection. And you'll see tons of bubbles in this because of the rivets. But if you see too much lift, you need to let it dry a little bit longer. Always going slow and methodical is the way. So you can always come back on it and press it after you're done. Right. So I pushed out a lot of the excess fluid out of the edges of it. Now all I'm left with is these rivet spots. And these rivet spots, it's a little difficult to see, but there's like a dome about this big where it's not adhering to the edge. Now this particular trailer has rusty rivets, which is about the worst case scenario you could ever imagine, because this is never going to truly seal to it. What we want to do is we're going to use the same method of like popping a blister. Don't pop it on top of the rivet, but instead you want to go off to the side of it, because you want that hole to be on this material, not on the rivet or on the seam. So once you have that hole, we're going to try to work the air out of the bubble around the rivet and try to guide it towards that one hole. This may be a multi-step process where you push out a little bit of the liquid. Right, in another technique, as soon as I'll just use my hand and try to press it down. I'm trying to get that thing as close around it as I can. Like in this case, I can see it's still bubbling. I probably need to give this another hour or two to dry before I'll be able to get all the air out of that ribbon. As far as the seams go, this like long line that we have here, basically I'm just going to gently start from one end, try to push it down, try to get all the fluid out of that. Yep, I can tell in this one I'm going to need to let it dry at least an hour or two longer before I'll be able to get all that air out. Now that I've removed the transfer tape, that's going to speed up the drying process. So we'll come back in about an hour and I'll work out the rest of that ribbon.